This is the Songwriter Connection, the award-winning elite music podcast of the year, connecting the songs and the people who write them. Welcome, songwriters, friends of the song, and fans of great music. Pull up a chair around the dining room table. From his home in Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, songwriter and storyteller, Dave Linehan.
Check. Is this thing on? It's on.
Believe it or not.
Marc-Alan Barnette is back on the pod. What do you say, buddy?
I tell you, man, it's an interesting world we're living in, and just hanging in there as best as possible. But I appreciate you having
the real
me here.
you or the AI you? It's the real you?
Yeah. It's everywhere, and it's so hard to tell what is real and what is not.
It really is.
And you know, it's. Yeah. I don't really talk too much about it, and I'm not really going to get into it too much because it is everywhere. I can't tell anybody what to do. You know, it's something. But one of the things that it does, it increases the supply of people trying to do this.
It sure does.
And that is what is kind of making it difficult on everybody. You got to utilize what you can, and you got to make sense of your world.
I saw a shocking story on Facebook, or it might have been TikTok or one of those. A gal I know, she was just scrolling through YouTube videos, and she hears this song and it sounds familiar, and she watches this video of her song.
Yeah.
And it's all AI.
Right.
No permission given.
Yeah.
Just took her song and made an AI video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she goes, I don't want to call anybody out. I'm going, call them out.
Yeah.
Because that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's
it
BS.
is.
Totally yes.
Yeah. And I've got a friend, both of us, Ronnie Brooks. And Ronnie was writing a song for two friends of his that were killed in California. He was going out to do a memorial for them. And in the middle of writing, he basically just had a verse kind of sketched out, and he was interrupted by his computer that says, "Oh, I see you're writing a song. I can help you on that." And immediately 2 songs, complete lyrics rolled out. And so there, it's very easy to want to lean into this, and people doing videos, and your video was good, and there's a lot of people doing stuff, but there's also there's some hidden things that I think are
really got to be careful.
Got to be addressed.
I didn't want to admit this whole thing about AI. It just popped in. But let me give a little background on Marc-Alan Barnette. Sure. We call him Yoda. Or Mab.
That's right. You know?
And I've got my hat on.
Yep,
you don't choose music. Music chooses you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm the Order of Mab now, and so honored to be. Mark is one of the premier song instructors here in Nashville. He hosts these tours, and if you are coming to town, like a lot of our friends of this podcast have done, you can hire Mark to do the tour. He will introduce you to people. He will write with you. You will look at their songs and tell them what they can do better. Right? It's a whole experience, isn't it?
It's the equivalent of a sports coach. You know, when people are in baseball, football, basketball, they have strength coaches, conditioning coaches, position coaches. Yeah. And now they're doing that from grammar school. You know, because people are trying to go up in athletics. And so I do the same thing for songs. I look at the past, the present, and the future, and I sit down and review songs. Some people will come for different things. Some people will just want their overall catalog looked at. And I'll go line by line, note by note. There are people that want performance critiques, which is a main thing that I do.
You did that for me, and I always appreciated that.
Yeah,
and he's one of the best performers you'll ever see. Mark can command an audience and has the medium out of his hands. If you see Mark in doing a show, you won't forget.
Well,
and it's so funny. You know, when you talked about coaches at an early age and stuff, I remember my oldest nephew, Russell. He was learning piano at a very young age.
Right,
the Suzuki method.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah. So
this is the Mabuki
method. Yes. Mabuki. We'll sing some Mabioki too.
Mabioki too. Yes. No. But it's like, I remember John Casey from South Africa came to town.
That's right.
And he listened to the podcast all the time, took the tour.
Yeah.
And I remember you asking him, was there anything specific anybody you want to meet while you're here? And he goes, yeah, I heard Danny Wells on Lenahan's podcast. Yeah. Can we meet him? And you said,
took him to lunch. Yeah. That's right.
Let's go to lunch with him.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. He's a great
yes
guy.
Or no, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today, and I wanted to focus in because you and I both go to a lot of writers' rounds, and I don't want to be too critical, but I want to make this positive because I had a note the other day from a guy who was going to be on the podcast later on. I really love his music out of Chicago, and he said, "Listen, I'm going to come in, but while I'm here, is there any place I can play out?"
Right.
And so I said, "You got to contact Debbie Champion. Debbie's been doing it for over 30 years, and she she runs, let's see, it's Sunday, Monday, Thursdays.
Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah. And Wednesdays and Thursdays, that's right.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday is Jimmy Copins and Annalisa.
That's right.
And they always make room. I mean, they have writers' nights every night at the Commodore Grill, and that's at the Vanderbilt Holiday Inn on West End.
Yes.
And they make room every night, open rounds.
Right.
And that's where you can get heard. And I know Debbie, if she really loves you, she'll give you her card.
That's exactly right.
Next time you're in town,
and
call me.
Get booked,
your band. Yeah, and you get booked. Yeah. So that's a good way to do it. And I just wanted to caution you when you come to town and you want to do that. And you can look up, there's other places. So Terry Joe Box does over at the local.
Drifters Barbecue on Mondays, Ira Barron. And
right. A little harder to get into the local, but, sometimes, if you'll send them a little bit of information on what you do. If you got an EPK, that's really great. If you don't, but a really good place to start, I think, is the Commodore Grill. Yeah. So we go to a lot of those. I know you and I play there a lot and around. But some of the things I've been noticing, and just some tips if you're coming in to do this. First of all, especially with Debbie, don't get up on that stage in tune.
That's right. Yeah.
There is a little area to the side. Make sure you're in tune before you get up there.
Purchase a tuner. They are inexpensive, and they go on the neck of your car, your guitar, and make sure they're there. If you're a keyboard player, make sure you have everything ready to go and ready to come off.
That's right. Yeah.
And being in tune, knowing your place when you're getting up in line.
Yeah.
And then also, you got to remember when Debbie is doing a show, it's about 5 hours, and there are multiple rounds, and people talk, and they'll tend to go on. A lot of people want to tell their life story before they even start a song. Best thing is to say who you are, where you're from, and then get into your song. Your song should speak for itself.
Absolutely.
And so you don't need to tell a long, elaborate thing.
Worst thing you can do is get up there and talk about longer than the length of the song.
That's
about
right.
what the song is all about.
You got a 10-minute intro to a 3-minute song. That's exactly right.
We hear it all the time.
All the time. That's right.
But just real brief.
Yeah.
Real brief.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Yeah.
And there's the other thing. You don't need a 20, 30-second intro.
No.
Give us a turnaround and go.
Intro solos, people that will play over the solo, they hear it in their head, but no, cut that out. Cut your intros, your turnarounds, everything. Get into your song.
One of the things I noticed at a recent round that I was in, gentlemen, we call this there's a spark. A lot of times it comes after a hook or after a bridge before you go into the next chorus. Mm-hmm. We call it the middle eight.
Yes, right.
And you leave that middle eight for somebody to put in a nice solo in.
Right.
If you don't have a lead guitar with you,
you're just playing dead air.
You're playing dead air. Yeah. Don't do it. Just go back into that chorus.
Yeah.
Mark and I have this little shtick going, and I love it. I'll turn him and go, and the middle eight, I go, take it, Mark. And he always go,
no.
He goes, no. You just keep going.
That's exactly right. I'm not a lead player.
No,
it makes me crazy.
It's become a shtick now. Every time I play with you, take it, Mark.
Nope. And then right into the next one.
Right into the next one. Yeah, but those are just some things.
Sure.
I think to and be conscious of everybody. When you go there, go early.
Yes.
Watch the other writers.
Absolutely.
Don't talk during their sets.
Yes.
I'll tell you, one night I felt so bad about this. Is not me, but there was right up in the front.
Yeah.
The very first table on the right in front of me.
Right.
These people who were going to play in the open round. Came in and they sat down and they're screaming. Ah!
Yeah. At the top of their lungs.
Yeah. And I just started a song.
Right.
So I stopped and I stared for a little while.
Yeah.
And they weren't noticing.
Right.
And Debbie goes, Dave, are you okay? I go, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
These people are not. And I called them out.
That's great.
This is rude. And it's not like me. And I felt so bad afterwards that I bought him a drink. I
know.
But it's not like me to do that. But how rude.
Well, it is rude. And just people don't think. I don't know where. And I think that's part of us in society where everybody's just so into themselves. And you get people that they want everybody to pay attention to them, but they're not going to pay attention to anybody else. Yeah, if you gotta talk, keep your conversations low or go into the back. There's always a place in the back you can go and talk.
There really is.
You kind of have to out loud people as a performer. That's a risky thing to do. And I certainly can say it. I did something a little worse than that one time. I told there was doing 4 people, but we're in the crowd. We were not on the stage. And this one table would not shut up. And they were right next to a girl, Carolyn Dawn Johnson, who had gone to have a big career. Yeah. But she was very quiet, and they just kept louder. And so I got a waiter, and I said, you tell those people over there that I will buy them each a drink if they will either leave or shut the up, STFU. And say I said it just like that. And it went over, and immediately they got quiet. Yeah. Afterwards, they came over. And so most people are just not thinking about it, but that's part of what you got to do. That's what all this is about. You got to listen to other people.
Yeah. And one of the things I've seen you do is take somebody that's being rude like that and make it part of the show.
That's right.
And the next thing they're part of the show and they're on your side.
That's exactly right.
I've seen you do that.
I usually could. I did it last night, actually. I played there. There was a couple of people right down front. And then I remembered my own little rule, and I had forgotten it. Do you remember the movie Raising Arizona?
I sure do.
All right. I love Raising Arizona. The villain of that was a guy named Randall Tex Cobb.
Who lives here in Nashville. Across the street from our buddies.
Yeah. And he came out, and he was actually being a little loud. He was, he was with some friends and all friends of ours. And so I made him a part of the show, and I had talked about that, and then all of a sudden he comes up stage, shakes hand. Well, thanks a lot, bud. Then he goes and sits back down, and half the people are coming over. Hey man, gotta take a picture. Don't bring too much of attention, but sometimes it can be real funny.
You never know who you're gonna run into in Nashville.
Well, that's the deal. You don't know who's listening. You don't know who in the back of the room may end up being one of your allies for life.
You better believe.
And so that's why you got to be deferential to everybody. You got to really pay attention to other people. And you got to just be a friend. Mm-hmm. If you'll be a friend, that was really, Don Schlitz gave me, the great late Don Schlitz. He said, The Gambler. Yeah, he said.
Many others.
That many, everything Randy Travis did. He was the guy in the 90s. Yeah. And I got to know him very quickly. And as a matter of fact, he came up to me one night and he said, you hear this word politics all the time in Nashville. And it's true. Politics is everything. It's part of what we do. But there's another word that has the same root, and that's politeness. And if you'll just be polite, most of the time you'll get wherever you need to go. And that was the truth. It still is.
And if you happen to see somebody that you like, they're pretty darn good. Yeah. Go up and say hello.
Absolutely.
You appreciate it. I love that song.
Yeah. Oh, if you name a line in it or the title, and you can tell them, that tells other people, tells the people that you're trying to get to that you're interested enough to listen and know the details, and that's an important
Big Joe Bazzelli, who's a really dear friend.
Oh yeah.
He had his, everybody loves him.
Sure.
He's so polite.
One of my tour guys.
And he's one of your tour guys. Friendly guy from St. Louis, and now he writes with all the big guys and he plays everywhere. But he'd go up and he'd go, I like your shit, man.
Yeah.
and they go, really?
Really? Yeah.
And they start talking, know.
Right.
But, and probably the worst thing is germing.
Yeah.
And I never heard that word until you brought it to me.
That's right.
I've seen it many times now in radio when I worked in those days. But talk about that a little
bit. I had heard the word, but I didn't really know what it meant until I heard Harlan Howard say it one night. There was Harlan Howard wrote Tiger by the Tail. He's a huge writer. Yeah. One night he says, "Hey, damn germs getting to me. Germ, G-H-E-R-M-S, germs." And I was going, well, what that is trying to extend a relationship that you haven't earned yet. And that's people with CDs or sometimes business cards. You got to be careful about how to do it. And it's just trying to get people to listen to your stuff. It used to be a tape, and you couldn't do that. There's an unwritten law in Nashville, no unsolicited material.
Oh yeah.
Now what that has really, the effect of really has happened were lawsuits. People are out trying to give their stuff away, get somebody to listen to what they're doing, and then, you stole my song.
Yeah, you stole my song.
We're all writing the same stuff, But if you had, in the case of somebody like Michael Jackson, you had people that would mail stuff in. Well, that's never open because people are going to get some lawsuit. And when you cannot have royalties paid out until all outstanding litigation is done. And for instance, with the biggest lawsuit, which was George Harrison, He's So Fine and My Sweet Lord, took 13 years and almost $1 million to settle that. Yeah. And he tried to settle it for many times. And that was back in the 70s.
Yeah. And Led Zeppelin, the same thing.
That's exactly right.
More than much with those guys.
Yeah. Well, everybody borrows from another thing. And one of the things that what I a little bit want to talk about is we've got so many people just writing the exact same song, the exact same way, the same rhymes, same titles. And that's another thing. It's part of my big four. Can I get into my big four? Would you mind?
Yeah, no. I just wanted to mention real quick before you go into that just a couple of weeks ago, we talked a lot about that unsolicited material on the show with the Okie Collective.
Yes.
So if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen. They're trying to change things in the industry, and I really applaud them. So anyway, the four things. The four things.
Well, I've kind of boiled everything down to four things. And one of today's show here, we're talking to people from outside that might be thinking of coming into Nashville, making a trip, and some that are wanting to move. And I understand that, and it's very addictive. But to me, in music, particularly the music business, are four things. First, creation of the song. And creation of the song is you're trying to find out what makes it stand out. If you have written a line and you're looking at it and you've heard that line 10 million times before, it might be a good idea to see if you can change that line.
Different way to say it.
Absolutely. Different way to say the same thing. Creation of the song. Presentation of the song. Everything is online today. And I see so many people that put up videos you can't hear. It's a lot of noise going on from their camera stuff. It's really attention to detail is not paid. People with their music videos, they kind of end up being like cat videos. Every time you perform live or recorded, that represents you. And one of the things about all of us here in this town is we hear somebody one night and we meet them, whatever, we go look up their social media the next day. And so you have to, your presentation of everything, you are a politician and you've got to be shaking hands and kissing babies, and that includes everything that you do. The third is networking, which is making friends, what we're talking about here. Everybody knows somebody else. And there's a term, and we use it a lot, writing up. You're trying to write with people who are either technically ahead of you as far as experience in writing, and also for politics, for position, somebody knows somebody you don't, and so you're trying to get in on that networking. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to that. A lot of those guys you want to write up with, they have such busy writing schedules.
That's right. Yeah.
They might be 2-3 months out.
That's right.
First of all,
or go ahead.
And second of all, I've always made it a policy: if they were a hit writer, I'm not going to ask them.
Right.
I'm going to wait for them to ask me. If they ask me, then
exactly,
my calendar.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's a delicate thing because again, the answer is always no unless you ask, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But you got to be careful. I hope you build that relationship first.
That's
just
exactly
the worst thing out of the blue.
Right.
Oh, let's write it. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, one of the things that if you're signed to a deal, if you're signed to a publisher or in production deals, whatever, you are contractually limited by who you can write with.
That's true.
And they're not going to let you get in with just anybody. That's why you find people, if you look down the decades here in this town and you look at who wrote the songs or hit songs, you find the same names that pop up. They're writing combinations, writing teams. They've been doing it since they moved here. Yep. And I wrote a book freshman year in Nashville, which is like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And it's, you meet these people, the people that were right ahead of you, and then the people that come in behind you. And that's kind of your class. And then all these circles of friends kind of interact, and before you know it, you're writing with a lot of different people. You might not write with that hit writer, but you might write with somebody that writes with that hit writer, and that works its way up. And so that's all the networking thing. The fourth is business. And business today is different than it used to be. It used to be business just getting paid for what you do. Today, it's getting and keeping attention. And you are working with some people, and you get better time slots on a writer's round, and you get better people playing in the round. You get to go on a tour up in Wisconsin. You get to do all of these little things. That's all part of the business. It's getting and keeping attention. Exactly. And so creation of the song, presentation of the song, networking, and business. Those are four things that never change.
Never change. It's interesting when you make that, when you do have a network like that, a tribe or whatever, I try to meet everybody.
That's right.
And I don't always remember names or faces, and I'm terrible with that. Yeah. But, it's usually like, hey, we have met, right? Remind me again, right. And a good lesson for me is for the first time this year, I went down to the Key West Songwriter Festival. And I was surprised how many people I knew. and they would come up to me, "Oh, I listen to your podcast all the time," and
Right.
that kind of thing. And I thought, wow, it's paying off, that hard work,
Yeah.
And I can't wait to go back. And you mentioned Wisconsin, so we've got a tour coming up.
That's
don't
right.
we?
Yeah.
I want to say first week in
August. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to Wisconsin State Fair.
Yep.
And we got some gigs around there, the American Legion and a place. I can't wait to see Nashville North. Have you ever played there?
No, I haven't. This is the
Nashville
first
North.
time. Yeah, I was never asked.
Yeah.
You asked me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a blast. So we'll drive up there. And it's so funny because I know you've been telling me for months about Song Sung Blue, the Neil Diamond type movie.
Right.
And I finally got a chance to watch it over the weekend.
Right.
It starts at the Wisconsin Fair. And I'm going, my God,
That's
we're
where we're going. Yeah. So we'll be Song Blue. That's
right.
Yeah. It was, they were basically a karaoke couple. It was a couple that were Neil Diamond tribute, and they kind of got discovered and became huge. And then it's a great movie. Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson.
He was great. Kate Hudson blew me up.
Oh yeah,
that lady can sing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and that's really them singing.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I just want to give in case you're from that area, here's where you can catch us, August 5th. It's a Wednesday night, 7 to 10. We're going to be at Nashville North. And then the American Legion Post the next day from 5 until 8. And then we'll be at the fair. Robert's at the fair. And I'm looking forward to those cream puffs. They say they got strawberry this year.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Robert's at the Wisconsin State Fair. 3:30 to 7 each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the morning. So I hope you'll come on out, say hello, and shake some hands.
Well, which brings another little aspect of networking kind of thing.
Yeah.
Far too many people wait to get to some place like Nashville, New York, Los Angeles, and you don't just dive off the board into the deep end, You should do things around your area. You should attend writers' nights. And if there aren't writers' nights, there are open nights, talent night, and support the festival. Support songwriters coming into your area. Go up and meet them. You went to Key West, and I go to Frank Brown every year.
I love that too.
And that is a place where everybody kind of knows everybody, and it's easy to sit down and talk to some of these people.
Yeah.
And if you want to get known in your own area, command your own area, build your way up. If you're a baseball player, Greg Altheimer. That's what you guys did so good in Cincinnati. Every Thursday you had that
every Thursday
at the Claremont Inn.
Yep.
And I just watched from the first time I started going up. And to give people background on me, I worked with the NSAI, Nashville Songwriters Association International. I've been a member for 40 years.
You gave a lot of your time to this.
I gave a lot of time, and that's kind of what developed into my tour business. And it was going up watching you guys every week. You would play and you would get tight and you would write together. You did everything up there that you were doing in Nashville. Today, you have to create your own niche.
You too.
And that is what you guys were doing. And also, it is why you knew so many people from Nashville, because you brought all of us up to play on the Writers' Night.
And we would come down a lot.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of you made trips, which is, God, that's
seminars,
the thing.
whenever. And we'd always try to play with Debbie or
that's right.
Or Lee,
that's right.
or, whatever. Yeah. And there's another thing that I wanted to get into before the break is, I didn't move here right away. Right. I had been coming since 1980.
Exactly.
When I got into radio. But, I didn't move here right away. Right. My friend Georgia Miles, I knew her a year or so before I even realized she didn't live here.
Right.
She lives in California.
Yeah.
But she makes it a point to come. She comes about every 6 weeks.
That's perfect.
And she's got a good network, and she's writing, and her songs are really coming along. Right. She's really becoming a great writer. So yeah, you don't have to move here right away.
No. I think everybody should make 3 to 4 trips. Just exploratory. I made 3 before I moved, and there are more people. Julie Morva is another friend of mine, a coordinator in Green Bay, and
maybe we'll get to see her in Wisconsin.
That's hopefully she's away from, but maybe we'll see. But it's just you've got to do as much as you can where you are first, and then you step up a little bit and about. Mm-hmm. The average stay for people that move to Nashville, and they moved unprepared most of the time, 6 months to 2 years, and most people just get overwhelmed. It's an expensive place. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people here trying to do the same thing. So you really need to be on your game before you get here. That is why they try Broadway plays off Broadway to work the kinks out first. Yeah. And so every trip that you make sets up for the next trip. and you meet people every time, and you go back with those contacts, and you keep up with them, and then you come back. Julie was the same thing. She was here about every 5 weeks, and she came, she'd work with me. I'd go through the things that she had written. I'd introduce her to people, and she had this ignatic personality. And before you know it, she met Megan Lindsay, who would go on to be runner-up on The Voice, and have a group, Still Magnolia, that she did, and they both gained prominence, national prominence, just by interacting with each other. Ended up
with a publishing deal.
That's right, with Taylor Swift's company. Yeah. So, it's all these kind of things, and you can't just look at, well, I want to get my songs on the radio. Well, who doesn't? Well, there's internet radio. There's a lot of different things out there.
It really is.
And you have to figure out ways to take advantage of it. It doesn't always pay. Those days of the big mailbox money coming in, we got streams of songs that get 1 in 200 million streams and still don't earn that much money. Yeah, so you really have to do a lot of different things to keep it.
That's why I love the independent artists and writers. Yeah. And I try to, when I like them, I like to put them on this podcast.
Sure.
Give them a little extra notoriety and because they work so hard.
Well, your podcast is an interesting example of doing stuff with music and taking your background. I believe everybody ought to. Who are you as a person? As a thing, you were in radio for many years. You had a great radio voice, and even taught that for a while. And you've now combined all of these things: your love for music, your love for the town, your love for all things creative, and you've developed into a podcast that has how many people now? Take it, Dave.
I think we're getting close to 5 million somewhere.
That's amazing. That's extraordinary. Yeah.
And that's all thanks to you. And, thank you for that.
Sure.
All good points. Yeah. You made one there that that brought one up in me, and I forgot it. So there you go.
Well, it's just, it's all kind of relative to this. It all makes the thing. One of the things that has always been wonderful about you, you supported so many people. And if you support other people, they'll support you.
That's what I remember now. I want to say, where's your passions lie?
That's right.
Yeah. And if you could be like me, I mixed two of my favorite passions, which was songwriting, the song.
That's right.
And my love for interviewing folks. Yeah. And that's what I loved to do when I was in radio. Right. Everybody from Blake to Willie. So, and I want to continue to do that. We're going to take a short break. Right. Marc-Alan Barnette is back, and he's got his guitar. We're going to have him play a song or two.
Sure.
Just don't go away.
All right.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection with Dave Linehan. Find us on Facebook and YouTube at the Songwriter Connection Podcast. And find Dave at thedaveconnection.com. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
I always like to talk during the thing. Yes, I got a new tattoo. I always wanted the microphone, the old style mic.
Yeah.
And when my father died, a month or so back, I said, I'm doing it finally. And so there's a ribbon wrapped around this microphone. It's got my mom's initials and my dad's.
Oh, let's go.
There it is.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Matt, I got one in each forearm now. Never thought I'd be a tattooed dude, but
you're a tattooed dude.
I am. Let me say that we're on YouTube, and we publish each and every Wednesday, 2:00 in the morning, Central Time in the United States. That's so that you could get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, and make a new connection, because connections are
everything.
So yeah, and then I also want to tell you that if you're there, like and subscribe. That's the single most amazing thing that you could do for us is to just tell one person.
That's right.
Say, hey man, you like songs, right? You should check out this podcast, and that would mean so much to me.
Absolutely.
Really. We also have the songs. I've got my own Spotify playlist.
All right.
And I invite you all to listen. Every time I do one of these shows and we release it, I put a couple of songs from that writer and artist on the Spotify playlist, which is called Songwriter Connection, the songs. And you'll be amazed at some of the big hits you'll hear from some of the big songwriters that we've had on the show and the up-and-coming ones who I just love. So Marc-Alan Barnette is back. You don't choose music. Music chooses you. Tell us that story real quick.
Well, I was in California, and I would do the workshops. I'd go out and do all these workshops. In order to make it affordable, I didn't like charging anybody a ton of money. And so I worked it out with, I kept going out and what else can I do, And in California, Cliff and Bev Nelson had a great writers group. And I said, what can I do? And they said, well, here's what we need. I said, If you live in California, you never co-write because you spend 6 hours a day in traffic. So we don't get together. And so we come to Nashville. Nashville's almost
4 hours in traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now, yeah. You know,
no, it's not that bad.
Well, sometimes it's close.
Sometimes.
But so when we get to town, we don't know anybody. Nobody knows us. And we don't even understand, how do you co-write? How do you do that? I just, so what you could do is like, and this was Cliff Nelson, who was a teacher, came up with this, is do what we call a write-up songwriting performance appointment. It's like a piano lesson, a guitar lesson, a vocal lesson that you go in, you sit down with somebody, and in 2 hours you come up with a song.
Love it.
And that worked for me, and so started doing that. And I was doing, Bev, boy, loaded me up. Sometimes I'm doing 4 or 5 a day, That's how I've written so many songs. But there's a guy, Stephen J. Fisher, attorney at law, that I always have to use. And he had been an attorney, and he was a very good writer in California. One of his friends, Jeffrey Steele, had moved to Nashville and become this enormous songwriter. Yeah, he did. And he was nice
to us too in Cincinnati. He'd come up and do some seminars.
Absolutely. And he was saying, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Well, I should have done this, or I should have done, and I'm like, man, you really can't look at it like that, because it's not all Jeffrey Steele. It's all not top. Most of it's just trudging along and late at night and playing to nobody, basically tables and chairs. And essentially, while we're sitting there, he's talking about this, I'm just writing down stuff that comes in my mind. And this line came out: you don't choose music, music chooses you. And that just is what I call an elbow moment. When you hear it, you want to nudge somebody. And the song came together in about 15, 20 minutes. It just
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That amazing song.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But yeah, it was just my life and the observations. Observations are what we have to have. I always write reality. I always write conversational, and I always try to write a uplifting, melodic, reinforcing hook. Right. And so it just kind of popped out, and we tweaked it back and forth and everything. So I then promptly forgot about it for about 5 years.
Did you really?
I did. And it was a ballad. It was slow. And I had a thing, you might remember a song I had called My Wish, that I would always do at the end of My Wish for Songwriters. And that worked out. So I just didn't think about it. Another thing about writing a lot of songs, you get a lot of things you just kind of forget about.
You do.
And so I was going to Marshall, Texas, and I started getting these emails, and people were saying, man, congratulations on their Rascal Flatts cut. Rascal Flatts, I love the Rascal Flatts song. And it was My Wish, written by Jeffrey Steele. and
Heartbreaking.
So, yeah, but I'm in Marshall, Texas, and I thought, man, I can't end with that because it just looks now like I'm following the leader. So I pulled out this thing, Tables and Chairs, and it was reaction from the group, about 50 writers there, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Then I forgot about it again for 2 years. One night, a guy named Terry Wilford, who was in that workshop at Marshall, Texas, showed up here in town. He was making trips into town, came over one night. He had a couple, and he started, man, play that song, play that Tables and Chairs. So I did it, and he said, play it again. And I played it 6 times back to back. And I went, well, this is kind of interesting. So I started closing with it, and it's become one of my most requested songs. And an unlooked for thing that happened to it is people started approaching me, putting their occupations into it. Nurses, you don't choose nursing. Nursing chooses you. You don't choose trucking. Trucking chooses you. You know, and I was like, well, God, this works better than I thought it would for more things, and that's exactly what has led to.
And that's the thing about songwriting.
It is.
If people can put themselves into that song and identify with what you're saying.
You want 2 reactions,
right?
Oh my God, they're writing my life, or oh my God, they're writing my life, and I never thought of it like that.
Never thought of it that way. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, so you got that guitar, and I know you save that usually for your last song, but since we talked about it, will you play it for us?
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is that lawyer friend.
Yeah. Stephen J. Fisher.
Stephen J. Fisher.
Attorney at law.
Attorney at law. Yeah. So the idea, did he present this idea? Do you remember? Because you write 500 songs.
It just popped up. You know, he was actually complaining about everything, and I was going, well, is there a way to make from a complaint into it? And it just
that's a good idea.
Sometimes there's just things just happen. You know, you can't really control them, and this is one of those things. But I thought of it from my point of view, and I thought about it because what it's really about is about persistence, continuing forward, no matter how hard you get hit. And that's pretty much every occupation in life.
Oh, absolutely. And there are times as a songwriter, you feel like you're playing for the Chinos and Chairs.
That's right.
It hit me real hard
and
first time.
And many times you are.
And many times we are. Yeah. Marc-Alan Barnette.
Another night has ended. Crowd is shuffled out. Two guys at the end of the bar throw their last ones down. The smoky haze has lifted. Work lights have come on. Now I'm packing up this old guitar and headed home alone. I do what I do for the love of it. Sure ain't for the bucks. Maybe some magic will wander in if I look deep enough. What they see 3 hours a night is a tortured soul laid bare. Sometimes it feels like I'm playing for tables and chairs. She used to come here with me and hang on every line. Since they were all about her, I had a reason to rhyme. But she couldn't take the lifestyle of this gypsy on the move. You don't choose music, music chooses you. I do what I do for the love of it. Sure ain't for the bucks. Maybe some magic will wander in if I look deep enough. What they see 3 hours a night is a tortured soul laid bare. Sometimes it feels like I'm playing for tables and chairs. Yeah, we do what we do for the love of it. It sure ain't for the bucks. But maybe some magic will wander in if we all look deep enough. What they see 3 hours a night is a tortured soul laid bare. Sometimes it feels like we're playing for tables and chairs. Sometimes it feels like we're playing for tables and chairs. Tables and chairs.
We do what we do for the love of it.
That's it, man.
Comes right down to passion. Then.
Yeah, it is all about passion. It's all about chasing your dreams.
That's right.
But injecting reality in dreams. You know.
I remember when I started working for the Ryman Auditorium, they had an orientation, and they played us a video from Minnie Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
And she wasn't playing Minnie Pearl. She was Sarah Kane.
Sure.
And she talked about situations like that. You know, she comes out, she said, I came out to perform, and there was not very many people, a lot of tables and chairs. She goes, I just kind of mailed in that performance. It wasn't a great performance. Right. And she said, there was somebody pretty important in that audience, you know, that could have helped her career. And because she just mailed it in, she didn't get that. And so she said her advice was never just mail it in. That's Doesn't matter how many people in there. There could be just one person. Mm-hmm. And if you touch that person, you know, you just never know. You just never freaking know, do you?
The connection for my first cut on Shelby Lynn was made with 3 people in the bar at Douglas Corner. It was 1:45 in the morning. A guy came up and said, man, I'm not in the music business, but I like some of your funny stuff. You got a tape? It was a cassette tape at that time. And I said, yeah, and I gave it to him. 6 months later, I saw him out, and he said, man, they're trying to find you at Tree Publishing.
Oh, wow.
And which was the biggest publisher there at that time. And I said, well, how? He said, well, I'm not in the music business. My roommate is in the music business. My roommate loved your stuff, and he played it for Sony. And Tree. And it had worked its way up to the vice president's office. Oh, and they were playing it on the stereo. They were playing different songs. And a guy walking down the hall stuck his head in knocked on the thing and said, "Who is that?" And they said, "Well, we don't know," because I had my name on the tape, but I didn't have my phone number. And I had the same name as a banjo player in town that everybody knew. And so they said, we're just hearing about this guy. He said, "I got a girl that I'm cutting, and I need that song." And it was a thing called "That's Where It Hurts," and it was a
Great
very
song.
slow intro and then into a two-step.
Is that the one your dad helped you write?
That's the one. It was my dad's idea, and wrote one song in his life. But it got her name in People magazine. It was used in a Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson television movie called Another Pair of Aces. And Willie and the actor Cecil Ward two-stepped to the song. My dad, the biggest Willie Nelson fan, saw that. You know, but it was written exactly for what they needed. It was presented well. It was a Nashville recording. It was really
You were synced before it was a cool word.
That's exactly right. And networking, that I'd met a guy, and that led to business, being in a CBS television movie of the week. The guy who heard it was Billy Sherrill, who discovered Tammy Wynette and George Jones. He was walking down just to go to the bathroom.
Oh my!
So much of the business is just random, but you got to be on your game. Yeah. It doesn't matter who's in that audience. It doesn't matter who is listening or not listening, because sometimes you hear things that you pick up that you don't know that you're listening to.
That brings me to more performance tips.
Sure.
And one of the things you always hammered home to me, I was used to being behind a microphone, not being seen.
Right.
And you showed me how to work a microphone on stage. It's different. It's different. And I always had this habit of looking down on my guitar and walking away from that mic, and you couldn't hear me. And you'd go, "Well, it's a good set, but you're still not on that mic 100% of the time." So I learned how to, I finally found a comfortable spot to play the mic that I can also look down when I need to.
That's the deal, yeah.
And so things like that. Right. The other thing too is, which you taught me was eye contact with your crowd. Mm-hmm. You look around. As you're playing, look at them.
Yeah.
Love them with your song.
That's right.
You know, as Kim McLean used to always say, I find myself still closing my eyes and trying to get into it.
No, I know.
That's okay. But then when I catch myself, I go, "Oh, yeah, what? Look."
Yeah.
So I try to sing to each and every table and go around.
Yeah.
And that's making a connection, isn't it?
Big time. Yeah. I've watched you just risen. You really engage the audience, and I appreciate it. It's also thinking about it. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't think about it, and you do. You want to get into your songs. I do it too. You know, but it just times when you look up and look around, and I just always try to do that, and it's worked okay, and that's what I think. But too many people. And the other thing that I wanted to say, I
bet you we're on the same wavelength. You're going to say what I'm going to say, I'm sure.
Phones and iPads.
That's what I was going.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there's too many people that come here and they set their phones up or their iPads or on a music stand. And I think we've all got to do it. It's all part of it. But I think you should rehearse your stuff, and you really should know what you're doing. I know everybody works new songs too. If you're going to do that, try to make sure that your iPad or your phone is down. It's kind of angled back where you can see it. Don't look at it all the time. You try to memorize this stuff, and what you can't, you just want to look at it for reference, but you want to most of the time look at your audience.
You know, and for me, and I did a lot of theater, high school, college and stuff.
Right.
And even some dinner theater. If you ever showed up to, when we're ready to start working on it, the worst thing you do is come to that without knowing your lines.
Right.
I mean, they know your line. You have to know your lines by this much. This is the time. By then, you need to have, and I don't care how long that script is, you had to have it memorized.
Right.
So think about that. You're going on stage.
That's right.
And if you don't know the words to your song, and you haven't practiced it enough that it's second nature to you, are you ready to perform it out?
Right.
Every single time that I played a new song because I was excited about it, but I jumped it too much, too quick before I was really having it down, I was sorry. Doggone it, I did it again. Why did I do that?
You got one chance to make a bad first impression.
That's right.
One thing that everybody should be doing if you're trying to be a performer, even if you're not trying to be a performer, and some people are not. Some people just want to be songwriters and everything, but you are the performer till you can get somebody else to take over the job. Yep. And so you should get your camera phone out and you should put it about 10 feet away from you and video yourself doing your songs. You ought to listen to your enunciation. You should listen to your eye contact. You also should find out if they could understand if there's ambient noise going on. Do you cut through? That takes staying on the microphone. That takes doing all of the things we just talked about.
Enunciation and articulation, too. I mean, there are so many rounds I go to, and I can't understand a word you're saying.
What are they saying? That's right.
What are they saying? Yeah. It's probably a great song.
Yeah.
But
another part of that is you should time your presentation and your setups. I'll rehearse the setups as much as I rehearse the song, because you got about a 5-minute window, and we got a 30-second attention span world.
Exactly.
And so you better be into what you're doing very quickly, and so rehearse that too.
Yeah. The old also get to the chorus. Don't bore us.
Don't bore us. Get to the chorus. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
It's hard today. People will go back and they'll go back to famous songs, and they'll go American Pie. But that was a time when the DJs were going to eat, so they wanted to play 8-minute songs.
Going to the bathroom.
That's why you get Stairway to Heaven and Bohemian Rhapsody
and Freebird.
Freebird. That's right. And so you got to keep in mind the short attention span that we deal with now, and we just don't have that time.
And you're not promised so many songs, and if you talk through it, you might only get one.
That's exactly right.
And I know Jimmy over at the Commodore, he doesn't like long. Keep the talking to the minimum.
Well, think of it. You got a time frame of 4 hours, and you got only so many people and so much time. The Holiday Inn has a time cutoff at 10:30 because they can't have any more performing there. That's just their deal. Yeah. And so you've got to be able to do that. And now today on some of these open mics, you're getting 45 people, 50 people on there. Right. And you just got to think in how can I present what I'm going to do as effectively as I can and know when to get off the stage.
I'd go up there with your best song, what you feel is your best song.
Yeah.
And not necessarily a ballad, right?
Right. Yeah.
Ballads are hard. Maybe. Ballads are hard. That's a good way to lose attention right away.
Very quickly. And one of the things that you should go back to the creation of the song. If you're going to do a ballad, you try to make sure it's a power ballad where there's a big uplifting chorus. And then you actually want to write less on that. Most of the successful ballads, you look at the most famous one, is 2 minutes and 10 seconds long. That's Yesterday by Paul McCartney.
How about that?
And so
ABA.
That's exactly right. And so you want to be able to present everything in what you do. And if you're doing a ballad, you better hit it hard in the chorus, and you better have less of it, because you got to make the payoff there so people to do it.
Absolutely. These are all good points.
Sure.
Well, I'm just trying to help you.
It all is just, and it's kind of difficult. I have a song with you, that we wrote, "Wish That You Were Still," and "Know That You're Still Here," and it's got a big payoff, but you got to really get to that thing and get it compact.
Yeah.
So it's,
and when people get to the ending, it's like,
oh, I know, it's a true story.
And it's a true story.
Cool,
kind of like Song Sung Blue.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It's a true story. Yeah. And you talked about that preparation too before you sing the song, and I thought right away of Jan Buckingham, who was a hit writer.
Yeah.
All these big Pam Tillis hits.
Right.
She's had hits for Air Supply, Whitney Houston. That's right. The lady should be in the Songwriter Hall of Fame, and I love writing with her. She's such a trip. But when she does her show, it's well rehearsed. And she does this song, "Gonna Buy Me a Dog," and she introduced it every time the same way, and it's always hits.
It works every single time.
And it's short and it's sweet. He gets to the song and you go, "Wow, it's a great song." So I thought about her right away, and I wanted to share that.
Jan used to do the funniest thing when you would write with her. I don't know if she still does it. I haven't written with her for a while, but when I first got to know her, she had this hefty garbage bag of hundreds of pieces of napkins and things that she had written down. And you went in there and you pulled one out, and that's what you wrote.
That's what you'd write that day.
And we wrote one called Seven Hangers. And it was 7 hangers. I don't know where she got it from, but it was about a guy whose woman had left him, and she just left him with 7 hangers, one for each day of the week.
I love it.
And so she, Jan just always has these interesting ways of doing things. But I have a great time with it.
First time I wrote with her, she said, and now I'm used to it, but she goes, "Now you have to understand, I'm going to get into a zone. Mm-hmm. If I get into a zone and I'm on my computer, shut up.
That's right.
And you may hear me cuss, and you may hear me, but
that's right.
And I go, "Chance, okay, I've heard all the cuss words."
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So But I love it. I love writing with her, and we've written some really cool stuff.
See, I go a similar way, but I also like to have people have conversations. I like writing with three people because it's fun. Too. You can get these people going on. Yeah. Once we've done, and usually people will just say things. You give them enough time and kind of get a conversation, they'll say things that turn out to be really good lines in songs, you know. Yeah. And most songs to me write themselves. You just got to stay out of the way. And I'll do the same thing with Jan. I'll wait till I have a thing. Here's another Nashville co-writing tip. If you can get a verse and a chorus, it gives you something to work with. The writers can get together and then go with their separate ways, get back together. And I always try to let the story develop and kind of go by conversations. And sometimes we have a hook. Sometimes we don't have anything. We're just trying to come up with something. You had Girl singing Merle, and it was just all the things that Merle Haggard stood for in a story about a girl who was singing Merle songs. Yeah. And so they kind of write themselves. You just stay out of the way. But I'll get into the zone when I'm trying to get to that verse. And
he does, folks. He has his, Mark's Old School's got his legal pad, and you won't hear from him for a while. Look at me. How about this?
Yeah, that's right.
And here's the melody in his head.
That's a strange.
He just picks up the guitar and boom, there it is.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange thing. And I'll try to record the first time I play something on my phone because you do things kind of by naturally as the song kind of explains itself. You'll do some things just out of instinct that are mistakes, but actually work out better than what you originally had.
Sometimes those mistakes are the
best thing. Yeah. And so
absolutely.
That's the thing. That's me.
All right. Yeah. But I want to hear a song before we go, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up with kind of a review and the most important things to keep in mind. And again, you don't have to just pack up and move, quit your job and come to Nashville.
Right.
But 3 to 4 times come in?
I'd say 3 times at least, but 4 times a year. And each trip, you also learn about, and this is the other thing I would tell people, man, talk to people that are here, just now moved here or just making trips. Talk to people who've been here about 5 years. Talk to
How
people
long you been here? Yeah. Tell me, what was it like for you?
Exactly. Yeah. I've been here 39 years. 39 years. And so
and your birthday is coming up.
That's right.
You threw a big birthday party, and I did want to mention that.
July 20th at the Commodore. I basically got the whole night. It's 7:30, 9:30 as a tribute to me.
Yay!
But what I'm doing is I'm bringing several people. There's yourself. We've known each other about 20 years. I've got people that have just now started doing things in town, and I've got some people. Paul Jefferson,
love Paul,
is going to sing with us, and he has been there since he moved right after I did, and so we're going to get a kind of section. Most of the songs are stuff we've written together. Kelly and Alan Chevelle, who moved down to Florida and have kind of gone into the Christian thing, they're going to do a couple of things that they've done.
Great.
And so basically it's going to be individuals getting up and doing it. And then the end of the night, we're going to have kind of a We Are the World thing. We're going to do tables and chairs, and Dave's going to be one of the soloists.
All right. I get my own line.
You get 2 lines.
Hey, 2 lines.
And we're going to have a big choir.
Right.
And so it's we're going to do Think for You, and we're going to do tables and chairs at the end of the night. So it's just going to be a kind of a retrospective of people that you work with and how you take this stuff and how you work this stuff and how we are a family.
Mark your calendars. Family. It's July 20th.
July 20th.
And you come to town if you're here,
please come out. Yeah.
Commodore Grill in the West End in the Holiday Inn Vanderbilt.
That's it.
It's a great place.
What I was going to do, I did the ending, but if you're getting into the writer's night, open mics are 1 song. Yeah. The writers' nights are usually about 3 songs, and usually in a round with multiple writers. And so anytime I'm trying to do something, who are you as a person, as a writer? And so I'm kind of soulful. I've written with a lot of people. I've written with just a lot of hit writers, and people knew what they were doing. So my first song is always going to be one that just grabs them right by it. And I'm going to just do my first couple of songs here. Wrote this with Frankie Ballard, the artist, from Michigan, and Walt Aldridge. And one day it was about 110 degrees outside, and we were just talking about hot. And so that's what this came from. Black leather seats in the middle of August in a Texas border town. Friday night at Louie's Bar and Grill with dollar beers going down. Number 5 lunch at the Mexican diner with the extra jalapenos on the side. Radio turned up loud and proud with Dwayne Allman playing slide. 5 days in the desert without one drop of water. My girl's hotter. $10 pistol that a guy wants to sell in the alley of a pawn shop. 68 Malibu scoop on the hood, shag carpet and a rag tie. Tabasco sauce and a shot of Patron, chased with some Jimmy Beam. Running through hell in long underwear, soaked in gasoline. If you want a girl who can light your fire, I've got her. My girl's hotter. Hotter than the Maricopa County Jail. Hotter than a pink tube top. Hotter than 2 squirrels getting it on, tangled up in an old wool sock. Holding on to his sister sweet, down to the very last draw. Old wood stove over in the corner of the kitchen of my grandma. Anna Parker's daddy when she jumped out the window to meet me down by the lake. My mama when I showed up for Thanksgiving and I was late. If you want a girl who can light your fire, I've got her. My girl's hotter. Well, now hotter than the Maricopa County Jail. Hotter than a pink tube top. Hotter than 2 squirrels getting it on, tangled up in an old wool sock. My girl's hotter. My girl's hotter.
Did he say 2
squirrels getting it on, tangled up in an old wool sock?
You did say that.
Did say that. That's the elbow moment. All right,
there you go.
That's the elbow moment. If you put these into the songs, you know, and the elbow moment is when you hear it and you go, God, do you say that? That's what you're looking for. That's what keeps people interested.
Absolutely.
My first song is always something like that has that little groove, and I'm from the South, and that's the kind of things that I do. And my second song is usually going to be something that I've written with a hit writer. And we had a friend of us all, Jimbo Henson.
Oh my God, Jimbo.
Who was just a tremendous writer. Wrote Setting Fancy Free and Tonight I'm Looking for Party Crowd. He's just an amazing guy. Yeah. And we wrote one song. It's one of the things that when you are getting ready to go to a co-writing session, listen to some of your favorite music. Because I'll always ask the question, if you could write a song for anybody, living or dead, who would it be? And you come up with stuff. I happened to be listening to some Motown stuff and Sam Cooke. And I liked Sam. I loved Sam Cooke and Ray Charles, my biggest thing. All I had when I got to Jimbo's house, and if you go into a session, have a couple of things in your mind, but don't be too settled on anything. And all I just had was this kind of old Sam Cooke. 60s, 70s Motown stacks kind of thing.
Good vibe.
And I just had one little thing. I got a thing for you. And Jimbo started counting syllables. He used to count his syllables. And I just kind of I got a thing for you. That's all I had. Jimbo put this stuff in. Hey, I got a thing for you. It's something I can't undo. Yeah. It's burning in my veins. It's boiling in my veins. I got a thing for you. You got a hold on me. It just won't let me be. You got my heart on a chain. All you got to do is yank. I got a thing for you. It comes with choreography.
Yep.
Be careful how you use this power that you hold over me. 'Cause love like this ain't nothing to play with unless you're planning on playing for kids. I got a thing for you. Everybody sing song. I got a thing for you. Something I can't undo. Something I can't undo. It's burning in my brain. It's boiling in my veins. I got a thing for you. Be careful, I use this power that you hold over me. 'Cause love like this ain't nothing to play with unless you're planning on playing games. 'Cause I got a thing for you. Modulation. Something I can't undo. What's burning in my brain, it's boiling in my veins. I got a thing for you. You got a hold on me. It just won't let me be. Got my heart on a chain. All you got to do is yank. I got a thing for you. 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 You got my heart on a chain. All you got to do is yank. I got a thing for you.
Marc-Alan Barnette, and I'll tell you, all us Mab heads, when he plays that song, we always do the yank, reach up in the air, yank it down, man. Some things are just timeless. That song has never gotten old.
I know.
I always love it.
It's always fun to play. It's always a big audience reaction. I had a little thing of that was songwriter performance technique. I just did. I noticed right at the beginning of it, my low E string was a little bit out of tune, so I just didn't play that low E string.
Yeah, you gotta know.
That's all part of it, you know.
You ever break a string during
all the time?
And then you got to play around it.
Oh God, yeah. There's another little thing. I have kind of this. There's one or two little jokes that I tell that take about a minute and 10 seconds, and I usually can get it on
and get in the change it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Will you do one thing before we go?
Sure.
Give me a little Jimbo Henson singing that.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, folks, he would come down. He would tell us about Jimbo, and we felt like we knew him. And then one time you brought him. But I remember the first time I came to Nashville, and I actually saw you and Jimbo perform.
Right.
Patty and I were rolling on the floor because he started singing, and you had him down.
I did.
It was just like, wow, he really sounds like that.
Play somebody for 20 years. Yeah. Jimbo was from Mississippi, and he was just bigger than life. He was a big ball of life.
Oh my God!
And he had just this very distinctive voice. It was like, I got a thing for you, something I can't undo. That's burning in my brain. It's boiling in my veins. I got a thing for you.
Oh, Jimbo Henson. You know, and one time you brought him to Cincinnati. We all got to meet him, and he was just, like you said, larger than life, but so sweet and such a nice guy. Sat down with us and listened to our songs and gave us advice and how to write better, and just what a great guy.
Well, he had a few Jimbo-isms that I still go on to tell, and he would say, well, songwriters just work way too hard. They just need... What you're trying to do is you're trying to make the ordinary be extraordinary. And that's exactly what it was. And he also said, songs of the mirror of the soul. People just want to look in it and see themselves. Ooh, and that's another thing.
I love it.
And whenever I wrote with him, we wrote about 8 songs, but there were about 4 that stood out. And Thing for You was always one of my favorites, but every time you would learn so much from him. He would count syllables. You know, you could see him. He liked, and this is another Marc-Alan co-writing thing. There are different people that like different things because people, far too often people go, well, here's a lyric, here's everything. Well, you've already done that. The less finished something is in Nashville, the more we like it, because people want to put themselves into it.
Yeah.
And so with Jimbo, he just liked da-das. Good and a da-da-da. That's what he liked. He liked the feeling. Music gets them there. Lyrics keep them there. He keep them coming back. And so Jimbo would do those inside rhymes, boiling my veins, burning my veins, burning my brain. He would do these things. And a lot of times, what would be funny with him is he'd write something, you watch him counting the syllables, and he'd say, play that again, play it again. And he's writing stuff down, and he counted where the accents were and the syllables were. And then he said, okay, try this. And so you play it, and he would sing, and every time you go, oh my God, that's great. And he'd go, oh, we can do better than that. And he would do every single time. So with songwriting and co-writing, and people, why do I have to co-write? Well, in this town is a very co-writing town, and it's also the relationship gets strengthened by the co-writes. The songs might not turn out to be tremendous, but the relationships do. And so being open and having a few things to guide, but letting the other person talk and put their stuff is very, very important.
More than one brain helps. And also think about it this way: if you're three-way right, well, you've just tripled your chances of that song getting heard by somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a difference.
Everybody's doing the songs, and also for somebody like we had talked about with Julie, who was not a singer, Julie Morva, but she met so many people and wrote with so many people. They're up there doing the songs, and her name's popping up all the time.
All the time, yeah.
And so your reputation precedes you. And if you want to write into these circles, you start writing. You're not going to jump at the top of you're going to work your way up,
right.
and then you're going to develop all of these relationships. Those are your allies.
Yep.
And people are also your direct competition. So the more allies you have, the more circles you get into, the more expansive your catalog goes.
Yeah. Keep in mind too, there is the nice thing I love about Nashville is everybody seems to support everybody and be that kind of person.
Yeah.
And know that one of the things you taught me very early was, that all boats rise with the tides.
That's right.
So.
Rising tide lifts all boats. You talk about somebody like Kari that you've written with, an artist here, and she's got songs out doing charts. Your songs have been on charts. You've written with a ton of people. You are the absolute embodiment of what I said.
Scott Barrier too. Yeah.
Scott. Oh, there's another one. Yeah.
Everybody.
And everybody has their own distinctive little touch. And that's, talking about Joe Bazzelli. He was a tour client of mine, and he has gone on to do great. Of course, being 6'4" is not a bad thing. You got to look up to him.
He's a big old papa bear. I love him.
But we have this family, this extended family that we all interact with, hang out with. We do shows with. You guys do the Sunday night thing over at Betty Lou's, and we just have a great time. This is a good town to be in.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. But you don't have to pack up and move here right away.
No, and you indeed shouldn't. Come check it out first. Come, we love to have people visit. And the other thing is that Nashville's one of the easiest places to meet people because everybody's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you just...
I remember one time somebody asked you, where do I find co-writers? And you said...
Pick up a handful of rocks and you'll hit 2 dozen.
Exactly.
The guy, I'll always do this is another little thing, and you'll be in a restaurant, you sit there, and the waiter comes over 3 or 4 times, and finally you go, so what kind of music you write? And the guy parking your car, so you got anything kind of, oh yeah. And also the other thing about Nashville, there's the other thing about Nashville. You're in Nashville when your Lyft or your Uber driver had Song of the Year 3 years ago. What goes up comes down immediately, guys.
That's so true. Absolutely. Yeah. Mark, thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Just really good stuff for folks to remember, and I hope we helped you. We don't want to be critical.
No.
And don't think of it that way.
No.
I hope you took it in the spirit that it was meant to be, and I hope some of those things, not all of them are going to apply to you, but I hope some of those things hit you and help you to make your career bigger.
If you can take one piece of information that works for you, a lot of things don't work for you, and a lot of people are going to go their own way. But just if you're trying to interact with a community like Nashville, just think about it. If the roles were reversed, if you're the one that had been around for years and somebody wanted to talk to you and meet you and stuff, what would you say and what would you not say?
And I would also say on that, if you're making your trip first time into town, and you want to play one of those open mics, do that. We highly recommend it. But you're reachable, Mark.
Yeah.
Marc-Alan.com.
MarcAlanBarnette.com. And pretty soon, I lost my domain name.
You did not.
I did. I missed emails on it. Tina missed it. And musicchoosesyou.com is how to do it. But anybody that want to know about me, go to YouTube. I've got a ton of stuff up there. Marc-Alan Barnette, MarcAlanBarnette, and you can kind of find me.
Check it out. So, All right. Thanks again, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll catch you next time.
All right.
Right on, everybody.
That's a wrap from the dining room table. Thanks for joining the conversation and chasing the music with us. From Nashville, Tennessee, this is the Songwriter Connection, the award-winning elite music podcast of the year, connecting the songs and the people who write them.